Hello Pisces, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at you and your connection to the person that you are needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward the connection, their energy toward the connection, and then the energy in between the connection. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and kind of this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. I do encourage you with these readings to think outside the box. This might not just be a romantic connection that we're talking about. This could be a friendship, a family member, a coworker, a boss, anyone that you are connected to that you are needing to learn a lesson from at this time. All right, Pisces, on your side of this connection, you have focus and shadow. My, oh my, does this person poke at your unhealed self? I feel like this person has a tendency to bring out your shadow side, to bring out the monster in you. Now, not in necessarily like you're a monster. Like, I don't want you to think I'm calling you a monster, but we all have him. We all have this monster inside of us, and this person really has a tendency to poke at that. Now, with this focus card, it almost feels like the need to redirect your focus away from the connection and focus it on whatever is within that is being poked at and ultimately needing to be healed, because there's something here. On this side of the connection, they have past life and friendship. So this is a past life friendship connection, which means when you met this person, it could have been like you guys got along really well from the beginning. It kind of felt super familiar, like you've known them in a past life. And I feel like that it was like that's why you guys maybe got together, why the connection started. But now I feel like we're getting into the nitty gritty. Okay, the connection started, and even if you've been together for a while, like I still feel like this connection has a tendency to really just like it's like poke all of those insecurities. And usually that's what a lot of those past life connections are here to do for us, is help us release a lot of those things that we have built up from our existence. Okay. In between this connection, you have veiled and release. There are things that are trying to come to the surface in between this connection that needs to be released. There are some things that this connection are trying to bring to the surface about you, about your past experiences that are needing to be healed and released. Now, I feel like we are going to figure out what those are right now. This is Pisces side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. This is Pisces side of the connection. This is Pisces side of the connection, please. Oh, Pisces. Okay. 7 of Wands in reverse, Justice in reverse, and 5 of Wands. Pisces, you have a bit of a problem with setting boundaries. Maybe not even just with this person, but with other people in your life. And when that's the case, you tend to attract energies that you aren't necessarily deserving of. People kind of walking all over you, feeling like you're always being taken advantage of. It's kind of the root of conflict in not just necessarily this connection, but I feel like connections across the board. Now, this person in particular might be really difficult for you to set boundaries with, because for whatever reason, I mean, like I said, they're this past life kind of connection, which means, yeah, it could be really difficult in particular with this person to set boundaries because, well, they mean a lot to you and you fear losing them. But that does not mean that you should not set boundaries. In fact, setting boundaries is the perfect way to figure out whether or not somebody is meant to be in your life. If you set a boundary and they do not respect it and they make you feel bad for it or they get angry at you for it, that is a perfect sign that that person is not supposed to be in your life. The people that are supposed to be in your life will always respect you and your boundaries. And respecting your boundaries is a level of respecting you. Pisces connection to this person. Whoa. I'm sorry, that's too many. We're gonna do clear, concise messages for Pisces side of this connection. Clear, concise messages for Pisces side of this connection. The Hanged Man in reverse with the Eight of Swords. So Pisces, you're dealing with some limiting beliefs about yourself in terms of connection of the sort. What are these limiting beliefs? Because it's keeping you from being able to kind of like you're gripping this connection really hard. You're like, oh, I don't want this connection to go. But why are you? Let's figure out where that's stemming from. Because the harder you try to hold on to something, the more likely it is to slip away. Clarifying this message. Oh. So you have the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands. And then the King of Cups. Okay, this is interesting because these feel like different people. Every single person or every single one of these feel like different people and they don't feel like your energy. So this is almost what this is saying is you have experienced not so great things with so many different people. And if you're a female, with a lot of different men. Or just if you're a man, it could also be with a lot of different men too. But I feel like it's like divine, like the feminine energy versus masculine energy, right? That has nothing to do with gender. And the past and your relationships that you've experienced has caused you to change, almost like see the way that you are deserving in relationships differently. Like now you feel like you have to overgive or to be perfect or be more than you are in order to have some sort of a successful relationship. And this connection in particular is bringing that to the surface. Maybe you've been walked away from a lot. That could be something. You've been walked away from a lot. And that's why this person pokes at your shadow side, because you fear this person walking away the most. This is Pisces side of this connection. Pisces side of this connection. Two of Pentacles in reverse with a Three of Cups in reverse. The Ace of Wands in reverse. Yeah, Pisces, I mean, you've experienced a lot of emotional connections that you've had, possibly not even just romantic, like not just of like the whatever type we're explaining in this connection, but like in general. Like you've had a lot of emotional connections fall apart. And this person is like really bringing a lot of those past insecurities to the surface. Because you fear them walking away, which is why you have trouble setting boundaries, because you feel like if you set boundaries, then they're going to end up walking away, or they're going to end up not wanting you in their life anymore, or whatever the case is. But the thing is, the less you set boundaries, the more that you actually run the risk of the connection being sabotaged. This Pisces side of the connection to this person. Pisces side of the connection to this person. There's a Strength in reverse. Because of your past, you don't have... Literally, I said sabotage. That's what this card means. Okay. Whew, okay. Because of your past, the Six of Cups in reverse and Strength in reverse, you don't have a lot of confidence when it comes to connections of this sort. And this is falling right under the Seven of Wands, which I was talking about not setting boundaries. And this is it's like Okay, this can say two things. Yes, talking about sabotage, but because of your fear of vulnerability. There's this fear of vulnerability here. And it's funny because I just accidentally dropped that, and it dropped on this veiled and this release card. That's what's being brought to the surface. You ultimately have a fear of being vulnerable because maybe you've been shut down so many times in the past that like you're afraid to, and for some reason this connection is like poke, 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 at that fear. It's this Pisces side of the connection. Pisces side of this connection. This is your limiting belief. Pisces, you don't feel deserving of what you're wanting of connections of this sort. There's the Magician in reverse. You don't believe that what you want in these types of connections is possible. And so you allow, because that's the shadow version of you talking, the version of you that's been hurt over and over again, that believes that you are deserving of being hurt because that's all you've experienced. That part of you is where what needs love right now, what needs to be the most healed. Because I feel like you're trying to, like, I don't know, like almost like it's like you're holding on so tight that you're pushing it away. You're holding on so tight that you're pushing it away. What am I trying to say? Like, what, clarifying that. Anxious attachment. It's anxious attachment is what it is. Because you're looking, this, yeah, okay, there it is. The Six of Wands in reverse with the Ten of Swords in reverse. It's anxious attachment because you're looking for this person to heal your past. And they can't do that for you. You have to do that. Now they can be, relationships of all sorts can be a safe space for us to be able to work through our past and heal. We don't have to be fully healed in order to deserve love. Never, ever, ever. But there is it's like the focus needs to not be so much on the connection, but more on these limiting beliefs that you have about yourself and how you're deserving of love. You've experienced a lot of really painful things in your past. A lot of betrayal, a lot of being stabbed in the back, abandonment, being walked away from, being whatever the case is. And so that has your outlook now through the lens of fear with this moon card here, the Six of Wands in reverse. Your outlook is a lack of hope. You don't have hope about connections. You might, and so you hold on to it because you fear it going away. But through doing that, it's like the more you chase, the more you push someone away, right? Instead of allowing yourself, believing that you're deserving and you can attract whatever it is that you want. Especially when it comes to, connections, we attract what we deserve. And you're deserving of more than what you've experienced. That's absolutely for sure. But there's that need to really, truly believe that. All right, let's dive into this person's energy. They have past life and friendship. The person that Pisces is dealing with's energy towards Pisces. The person that Pisces is dealing with's energy towards Pisces, please. The person that Pisces is dealing with's energy toward Pisces. This person feels stuck. They don't know what to do here. This person feels like this connection isn't necessarily moving forward. They could be stuck on their past too, though. Not stuck on it in terms of like want it back, but just like same way you are, right? Like you're still stuck on the beliefs that your past has imprinted on you. It's what this is saying to me is that you're both needing to heal in order for this connection to move forward in a healthy way. You're both needing to heal. Because there's the Page of Swords and the Moon. Now, this connection I feel like has the potential to trigger healing in both of you, which is always, you know, what you want, right? You want someone in any capacity, friendship or otherwise, that you want to be able to grow with. Helps you grow, not stay stagnant. And I feel like that's what this person has the tendency to do. Sorry. Okay, this person's energy toward Pisces. Could be dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You don't have to be. But they're this King of Swords here. And they're triggering inner child healing. That's exactly what's happening. They're triggering inner child healing. When I talk about inner child, it doesn't even need to be wounds that stem necessarily from childhood. It's just, it absolutely could be. I want to clarify this Page of Wands in reverse. Because they don't mean to, but they trigger this in you. Clarifying this Page of Wands in reverse. You guys both have a tendency to overthink this connection. Because I feel like it's like that, like, oh, when Pisces shows that they care more, then I'll show that they care more. And at the same time, you're going, when they show they care more, then I'll show they care more, because you're both a little bit afraid of vulnerability. And so you're kind of waiting on the other person to express vulnerability before you express vulnerability, and it's kind of keeping you stuck in this. That's why it's stagnant. It's keeping you guys stuck in this, like, I'm just gonna make a move, and I feel like that would be, because remember I talked about how your fear of vulnerability would have the tendency to sabotage this. That would be what would push this away, because they're feeling a little defensive towards this too. This is the person that Pisces is dealing with, side of the connection of Pisces. Person that Pisces is dealing with, side of the connection of Pisces, please. Person that Pisces is dealing with, side of the connection of Pisces. Person Pisces is dealing with, side of the connection of Pisces. See, okay, here's the thing. This person, I feel like, has been in connections in the past where they gave but didn't receive. And I feel like they fear their past repeating itself. Now, I don't necessarily feel like they see you as someone who's going to do that. But remember, 95% of how we respond to our reality is subconscious. And so there's a lot going on here that I don't think either of you are super aware of. Because here's this conflict. This is this conflict, the conflict that exists between you two. It's because of your lack of boundaries. It's like lack of boundaries and lack of vulnerability, which setting boundaries is a vulnerable thing to do. It's like because of your lack of boundaries and then like their defensiveness. That's kind of where the conflict mostly stems from. Because they've got healing to do from their past, from things that they've experienced in their past. Get more. This is the person that Pisces is dealing with, side of the connection of Pisces. The person that Pisces is dealing with, side of the connection of Pisces. They're dealing with, ooh, Justice in reverse, Page of Wands, and then the Queen of Wands. see, you guys both have inner child energy here that's being poked at through this connection. They do too. There's a karmic cycle in between this connection. I'm not saying it's a karmic connection. There's a karmic cycle within this connection. And that karmic cycle is how your past relationships have kind of unfolded. That's why you're both you're looking at this connection through the lens of your past. Okay, this person's energy toward Pisces. Yeah, this person, you guys both kind of trigger some pretty deep-seated wounds. Look at that. And there it is. There's the deep-seated wound. They don't feel deserving either. Same Lovers in reverse that you have in the exact same place. They don't feel deserving either of giving and receiving love. And that's where their defensiveness comes from. Now, maybe you have a tendency to be defensive sometimes, and they have a tendency to not be able to set boundaries. Like, it could go either way. I mean, they've experienced a lot of loss too. And I feel like this has the potential to be a very healing connection. It just is about, making sure that you and the other person are open to working through things together and not allowing the defensiveness to take control. I've noticed with my current connection, I started doing something which has completely changed our connection. Whenever I start feeling triggered, because my significant other is like the most perfect man in the world. Not really. I don't actually think he's perfect, but he's perfect for me. And he has such good intentions, and he does the best he can in every single way. So if I'm being triggered by him, there's usually something going on within me. And I've noticed more and more that when I feel triggered, the first thing I want to do is lash out or push him away in some way, shape, or form. And so what I've started doing, getting over a cold. What I've started doing is in those moments of feeling triggered, I've started reaching for more love, reaching to get closer, reaching to push past my tendency to get defensive and push people away, to open myself up to more love. Because that what happens in those moments I'm feeling triggered is my shadow side comes out, and the first thing my shadow side wants to do is, let's push this away, before I get too hurt. And that has ruined so many relationships for me in the past. And obviously I don't want to ruin this one. And so I've learned more and more that in those moments of being triggered, when I can reach for more love instead of allow my shadow side to take over, it actually brings us closer, and it's almost like we can work through more in that way. And then the trigger is gone. Like it no longer affects me. It no longer controls me. Now, that's taken a lot of work for me to be able to do that. And I'm not saying it's easy to do that, but during those moments of feeling highly triggered, the more that I can not lash out and reach for more love, the more our relationship grows and becomes healthier. And I feel like the more that you guys can do that and not allow the defensiveness to take control, where it starts being, because remember, in any partnership, it's never you versus them, it's you and them on the same team. But when you're feeling triggered, it can very easily turn into you versus them. And that is usually where relationships get sabotaged. This person's energy toward Pisces. Look at that. The conflict can be released here when you work through the karma. Work through this karma, and the karmic cycle, I feel like the karmic cycle is sabotage. I do. I really, really do. Let me clarify this Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I want to clarify this Wheel of Fortune in reverse, please. The Page of Pentacles. There it is. And then the Three of Cups. Look at that. When you work through this, there's the opportunity for things to come together in a healthy way, for taking that next step together. But the Page of Swords in reverse is saying the lack of communication, the lack of vulnerable communication that's kind of getting in the way. Conflict can be resolved, though. I need you to know that. Pisces. Conflict can be resolved. All right. We are going to hop on over to the extended. I am going to look at the energy in between this connection. You have release with veiled here. So we kind of talked about a lot of what's being brought to the surface so that it can be released, so that it doesn't, no longer affects your connection, and you guys can move forward. Thank you guys so much, as always, for the support of my channel. I say it every week, but that does not mean that I don't mean it. It means the absolute world to me. This is amazing that this is what I get to do for a living, and you guys make that possible. So thank you. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journeys moving forward. All right. Bye, Pisces.